Okay, children, let us be back to our regular sessions. Now, it's my pleasure to invite Mrs. N. Rama Kalyani, PGT Physics from TSMS Pudur Vikarabad. She is here to deliver a beautiful lecture on the very important topic of physics, that is waves. And Mrs. Rama Kalyani madam has been working as a PGT at a TSMS Pudur for the past 7 years. Before entering this model school stream, she has good experience of 3 years for handling PG as well as UG students. And my dear students, I can say probably that it's your luck, good luck, it's your fortune that you are able to hear to the beautiful lecture which is going to be given by Mrs. N. Rama Kalyani. Rama Kalyani garu, please start your lesson, and I'm signing off.
Thank you, ma'am. Good morning to everyone. Good morning, dear children. I hope you all are staying home and staying safe. So, first of all, I would like to extend my heartfelt thanks to our respected director, Sri A. Satyanarayan Reddy Garu, and the coordinating committee of principals for setting up this wonderful platform so that students can be benefited in this pandemic. I also would like to extend my thanks, and I'm always grateful to my principal, Mrs. P. Sridevi Garu, for always having faith in me and for giving the required motivation whenever I needed. My special thanks to Vasu sir for sharing his rich experience and guiding me with his rich experience in making this presentation. Okay, children. So last class we have seen the introduction of waves. Okay, we have experienced the wonderful explanation of Sri Vasu sir regarding the introduction of waves, the types of waves, right? How many types of waves are there? The mechanical waves, non-mechanical waves, right? And we have seen again the types of mechanical waves, okay? The differences between them, longitudinal waves and transverse waves. Example, where are we experiencing them? Okay, and then we have been talking about waves. Okay, this is still your basic level. Right now, because we are in inter-second year, we will go a bit forward. Already, sir has introduced you regarding the parameters of the wave. Okay, regarding the wave parameters. Right. So today, I will just have a small introduction or small review of the wave parameters that we have seen. What did we discuss in the previous classes? Amplitude and phase, wavelength and angular wave number. Okay, phase difference and path difference, I'm going to discuss with you today. Then period and frequency and angular frequency. Okay, children. So I hope you all have reviewed the videos of sir, made some notes from it, and you must have been aware of all the quantities, all the parameters that was already delivered. Okay. Now, a little bit of review and elaboration on the basic parameters of the wave, right? First of all, children, let me ask you, what do you think wave parameters are? Okay. Now, if I'm asking you the parameter of a child, okay, what are you identified with? You are identified with your name. You are identified with your characteristics like your height, your weight, the class you're studying in. Yes or no? Okay. Similarly, we can understand a wave is characterized by certain parameters. A wave is characterized by certain parameters. The first one we should talk about is the amplitude. Before going to the amplitude, children, do you remember the displacement equation? The displacement relation that sir has discussed with us? Y is equal to a sine kx minus omega t. Okay. So the equation there, y, okay, the subject of the equation, y, is the displacement. Okay, is the displacement of the equation. Children, I hope you can see the green colored curve here, the wave. Okay, the green colored curve here. Okay. What do we understand from this graph, children? In this graph, the displacement is continuously changing. Okay, now what do we have on the x-axis? On the x-axis, we have time. Okay, the independent axis is time. And on the y-axis, we have displacement. Okay, you can see the displacement is a continuously varying phenomena. Yes, it is a continuously varying phenomena. Okay, that means displacement is not constant. Displacement changes with respect to time. Now you can see here amplitude, the red colored arrow mark, amplitude. What is it showing to us? The maximum value of displacement. Okay, amplitude is showing us the maximum value of displacement. Okay, so simply defined maximum displacement of the particles from their equilibrium position as the wave passes through them is called as the amplitude of the wave. It is the maximum displacement of the wave. Okay, and one more thing, now you are seeing the curve is the wave is going into the negative quadrant here. Yes, the wave has entered the negative quadrant here, and something, the arrow mark is getting inverted here. The arrow mark is showing in the negative axis. Do you think amplitude is becoming negative there? No. Can our height be measured in negative quantity, in negative numbers? No, amplitude is always a positive quantity. Okay, amplitude is always a quantity, positive quantity, because it is a magnitude, it is a measurement. Is it clear, children? For example, now what is this amplitude? Can we understand it from our daily life? Yes, it is very clear to us. The amplitude of a sound wave is defined as its loudness. Okay, this is very crisply I have put it for you, children. It is defined as the loudness of the sound wave. Okay, whenever you want to change the volume of the TV, or suppose you're listening to some music in your mobile phone, you're changing the volume, right? Either increasing or decreasing. Okay, that means you're either you're increasing the loudness or decreasing the loudness. What are you doing there? Changing the amplitude of the wave. Is it clear, children? So this is the physical importance of amplitude. Is it clear, children? This is where the physical phenomena of amplitude we are able to see. Otherwise, in our daily life, for sound wave, you cannot directly visualize a amplitude. Okay, now you can understand amplitude of a sound wave by the loudness of it. Right, children? Now here, we will go to the next important concept, the phase of the wave. Okay, the phase of the wave. Children, let me tell you, the phase of the wave is a very, very important concept, not for this chapter, not only for this chapter, but for many upcoming chapters. Okay, it is also connected to our currents. Okay, alternating currents chapter, and then your third chapter. So phase concept is very, very important to us. So it is better you try to understand it very clearly, children. Now, what is phase? Mathematically, first let us see here. In this equation, the displacement equation, y is equal to a sine kx minus omega t. We already know what is a. A is the amplitude of the wave. Okay. Here in this wave, can you identify the amplitude, children? Yes. From here to here, this is the amplitude of this wave. Okay. And this kx minus omega t, the terms in the brackets kx minus omega t, they represent the phase of the wave. They represent the phase of the wave. Okay, children, first let us see what are the familiar things inside these brackets. Okay, what are the familiar physical properties inside this bracket? We know x, we know t. Okay, they are already familiar to us. Okay, x is the displacement of the wave with respect to time again. Okay, along the x-axis, and t is the time instant. Okay, that means at an instant of time, where is the wave position, where is the particle, right? That is the displacement and that is the time. These two things, k and omega, we will be doing in the next slides. That is, k is called as the angular wave number and omega is called as the angular frequency. So let us come back to the phase first of all. On the whole, what does this kx minus omega t represent? Okay, as I told you, it represents the phase of the wave, or then again the phase of the wave. It determines the displacement and velocity of the wave. Okay, the phase of the wave tells us about the displacement. Okay, and the velocity. This is again concerned with velocity of the wave at a given instant of time. At a given instant of time. Okay, now children, here we have some more pictures. Okay, we have some more pictures here. In this, you can see there are two waves actually here. Look at the second picture, children, so that you can clearly understand. There is a red colored wave and there is a blue colored wave. Okay. What does the black wave show us? The black wave shows us the resultant wave. That means if these two waves are moving together, then what is the result of these two waves? Okay. Here in the picture, you can only see the red colored wave, but actually the blue colored wave is also combined with it. Okay. The blue colored wave is also combined with it. Okay, children. Now, when these two waves are moving together, the red colored wave and blue colored wave are moving together, you can see they're starting at the same point. Okay. They are reaching zero displacement at the same point. Again, getting maximum displacement at the same time. Okay. This is when we call the two waves are totally in phase with each other. Okay. The two waves are totally in phase with each other. When the two waves are totally in phase with each other, their amplification or their amplitude will get doubled. Okay. That means it is single amplitude, two waves together. This is the double amplitude. The amplitude gets doubled. Okay, children. Here you can see delta phi is equal to 0 radians. 0 radians means what? Delta phi is called as the phase difference. Delta phi is called as the phase difference, and here there is no phase difference between these two, which means that the two waves, the two progressive waves are in perfect coincidence or in perfectly phase with each other. Okay. At the time we are saying delta phi is equal to 0. The phase difference is equal to 0. And radians is the units of the phase difference. Okay. It is nothing but, children, phase is nothing but the angle. We are representing it by some angle. See here, this is the starting point. It is 0 degrees. Okay. This is the peak is at 90 degrees, right? Coming to here, one complete half cycle, it is 180 degrees. Okay. Then till here it is 270 degrees, and the total cycle, one complete wave from here to here. This is a one complete wave involving one full crest and one full trough. It will be the completion of 360 degrees and again the beginning of a new wave starting from 0. Okay, now. So here the two waves, as I told you, this is not just red wave. The blue wave is also combined in it. So the two waves are in phase with each other. That means the phase difference between them is 0 degrees. Okay. Now let us see the second wave. In the second wave, the first wave, that is a red colored wave, if you can see, it has started from 0. That means the phase of the red colored wave, is 0, right? What about the phase of the blue colored wave? The phase of the blue colored wave is 90 degrees. Okay, children, it is 90 degrees. How can we say that? Look at the position. Okay, look at the difference between these two waves. Already the red colored wave has started its propagation, right? While it is completing full wave, the blue colored wave has completed only half. Yes or no? While the red colored wave has reached its one half cycle, 180 degrees, the blue colored has reached only 90 degrees, right? So the phase of the first wave is 0 and the phase of the second wave is 90 degrees, which means the second wave, the blue colored wave, is lagging by pi by 2 radians or 90 degrees. Lagging means it is behind. Yes or no? It is behind by 90 degrees, right? Or pi by 2 radians. Clear, children? Now look at this interesting thing. Okay, in this, now look at the black colored wave. I told you it is the resultant wave. The black colored wave is the resultant wave. How is it appearing here? What is the maximum value reached here? 20 meters. Yes or no? So each of these two waves are 10 meters and the black colored resultant wave has reached 20 meters. Yes. Did it reach 20 meters here? Did it reach 20 meters here, children? No, it did not reach 20 meters here. Why? Because in the previous wave, the two waves were completely in phase with each other. There was no phase difference at all. But here, there is phase difference of 90 degrees. Okay, there is phase difference of 90 degrees. And we are saying the two waves are out of phase of each other. Okay, both the waves are out of phase with each other with a degree of 90 or pi by 2 radians. Therefore, the resultant amplitude will not have maximum value. Okay, the resultant amplitude will not have a maximum value. It will be between 0 and the maximum value, right? And let us see the third one here. In the third one, these two waves are separated by 180 degrees now. Okay, 180 degrees. Just see here, from here to here, the red colored wave, the phase of the red colored wave is 0. Okay, the phase of the red colored wave is 0. Okay, now it is getting, the blue colored wave is getting its first crest after 180 degrees of the red colored wave. Yes, the first crest, the first occurrence of crest of the blue colored wave is after 180 degrees. That is, the red colored wave has already completed one crest, then it is reaching its, then the blue colored wave is coming with its crest, right? That means it is lagging by 180 degrees or pi radians. Okay, it is lagging by 180 degrees or pi radians. What is happening in this situation? Children, this is something like a total plus and minus situation. Okay, it is 180 plus and 180 minus, whatever way you take. Okay, so what are we expecting with the amplitude? Where did the amplitude wave go? Are you seeing the black colored wave here? That is because the displacement has become 0. Okay, in this case, where delta phi is equal to pi radians or 180 degrees, when the phase difference is equal to 180 degrees, at that time the two waves overlap such that the resultant wave is disappearing completely. That is, the displacement of the resultant wave becomes equal to 0. Is it clear, children? Okay, I had to show you this image previously. In this wave picture, something similar to what we have seen earlier. In this wave picture, right? In the first picture, if you closely observe, this is not a single wave. This is the combination of two waves. In the second one, if you see, there is a dotted wave. Yes, a wave is dotted here, dotted line wave, and a full wave. Actually, in the first picture, you have to imagine that these two waves are together. Okay, both of them starting at 0. Okay, which means that the phase of these two is 0. Okay, the phase of these two waves is 0, which means that these two waves are perfectly in phase with each other. Okay, these two waves are in phase with each other. So the phase difference between them is 0. Okay, the phase difference between them is 0. Look at the second image, children. In the second image, as we have seen already, this wave started with 0 again. Okay, this wave started with 0 again. So the phase of this wave is 0, right? But the phase of this wave is 90 degrees or pi by 2 radians. That means the dotted wave is lagging behind by the full line wave by 90 degrees or pi by 2 radians. Children, I hope this concept is clear to you. The units, once again, we'll see the units of phase is either 90, it is either in degrees or in radians. Okay, it is a measurement of angle, right? Right. Now we have seen phase difference. Okay, phase difference is the angular difference between the two waves that we were discussing. Okay, so the distance that we can talk about regarding waves, it is actually the difference in the length they have covered or the distance they have covered. Okay, we can talk in those terms also. Path difference, you can extend this concept, you can take this concept to the next chapters also, the upcoming chapters also. So path difference, It is the difference in the path traversed by the waves. Okay, you can see here. See, this wave has already started. So how many cycles did it complete? It has completed 1, it has completed 2. Okay, so by the completion of 1.5 cycle, by the completion of 1.5 cycle, this wave has started. Yes or no? This wave has started gradually. Okay, which means that if they are reaching the same destination, if they are reaching the same end point, then the first wave has traveled a longer distance compared to the second wave. Yes, I hope you understood. Here, somewhere here. Okay, and this wave has started after one. This wave has started after 1.5 wave. Okay. Then the path reached by, the path covered by these two, the path covered by these two waves is different. The difference in the path covered is given by the path difference. Children, I hope I'm clear to all of you. Now, here we are seeing the phase difference and path difference. Okay, the phase difference and path difference. Okay, so here once again you can see this image here. This is the source of wave A, the first wave, the pink colored wave, and this is the source of wave B, the yellow colored wave. Okay, here you can clearly see that the two waves are not traveling by the same distance. Okay, the pink colored wave or the first wave has traveled a longer distance compared to the yellow colored wave. Okay, how do we measure them? Just look at the number of crests and troughs formed here for the pink colored wave. 3 of them. Yes, so it is 3 wavelengths, we can say. That's why we have taken 3 lambda here. Okay, the distance covered by the first wave is 3 lambda. Okay, and the distance covered by the second wave is 1.5. Okay, we have 2 crests and only 1 trough here. Okay, so it is 1 full wave and a 1 half wave. So it is 1.5 lambda, 1.5 of the wavelength. Okay, but the path difference between these two will be 3 lambda minus 1 by 2 lambda, or that is 3 by 2 lambda. That will give us 1.5 lambda or 3 by 2 lambda. This will be the phase difference between these two waves. Okay, consider the lower picture also. The phase difference between these two waves here. This is the pink color, the blue colored wave starting at 0. Okay, the phase of the wave is 0 here, and the phase of the wave here is, the pink wave is 90 degrees or pi by 2 radians, which means the phase difference between these two, the phase difference between these two waves is pi by 2. Okay, the phase difference between these two waves is pi by 2, and the path difference will be lambda by 4. Okay, the path difference will be lambda by 4. How are we saying that? By the time the pink wave has started, the blue colored wave has traversed 1/4 of its distance. Yes or no? By the time the pink wave has started, the blue colored wave has traversed 1/4 of its distance. Okay, so this is the path difference of the two waves, right? The phase difference phi and the path difference delta x. Okay, delta x is the difference between the positions of the two waves, x2 minus x1. Okay, let us say x1 is the position of this wave and x2 is the position of this wave. Then the difference between those two is delta x, or the path difference. These two are directly proportional to each other, and the relation between them is given by delta x, that is the path difference, by lambda. Lambda is what? lambda is the wavelength of the waves, is equal to delta phi. Delta phi is the phase difference between them by 2 pi. 2 pi is the radiance, okay, equivalent to 360 degrees. That is the radiance covered in one complete cycle of the wave. So from this, how can we write the phase difference? Phase difference is equal to 2 pi into delta x by lambda. 2 pi into delta x by lambda, where lambda is the wavelength, and we know the units of wavelength is meters. Now let us define wavelength here, children. It must be a known concept to you, the wavelength of the wave, okay? The wavelength of the wave is the distance between two successive points having the same phase, okay? The distance between two successive points having the same phase, okay? We can select any 2 points from the wave, from the progressive waveform, which are in phase with each other. In simple terms, we can take distance between two successive crests or troughs. That is, it can be from here to here, or from this point to this point, okay? This is the wavelength, the distance between two consecutive crests or two consecutive troughs, okay? Or as I'm telling you, the distance between two successive points having the same phase. See children, this is zero phase. Yes, the origin. The origin is the zero phase, right? How much is this? 180 degrees or pi radians. Yes. Now this is 270 and here this is 360, which is again the starting of a new cycle, which is 0 degrees again. The distance between these two can also be considered as the wavelength. Okay. The units of lambda is in meters. Right, children? Now we will go to wave number and the relation of wave number with wavelength, right? Where did we come across this wavelength? We have already introduced it in the displacement relation, children. Y is equal to A sine kx minus omega t, right? The k there, okay? The k called as the propagation constant. It is called as the propagation constant. This is called as the wave number or the angular wave number. Now let us consider our displacement equation. Y is equal to A sine kx minus omega t. In that, I am taking t is equal to 0 and phi is equal to 0. What does it mean? T is equal to 0 means at the beginning, at the zeroth time means just when the wave starts. And phi is equal to 0 means what? I am considering the phase of the wave is equal to 0. Okay. So if I substitute these two in the displacement relation, then I will have y is equal to A sine kx. Okay. A sine kx, right? Now, we know that this repeats for every 2 pi radians or 2n pi radians, right, children? A sine wave has a property to repeat. It will look exactly the same. It will look exactly the same after every 2 pi or 2n pi radians. Okay, I'll just go back and show you. See children, after every 2 pi radians, from here to here, it is 2 pi radians. Okay, again after 2 pi radians, it is repeating, yes or no? The cycle is repeating, just like after every 24 hours. The time period of Earth's rotation is 24 hours. The day begins again, right? After every 2 pi radians, we have a new cycle. Okay, so this is a sine wave that repeats after every 2 pi radians. Okay, so that is what I have introduced here. Sine kx should be equal to mathematically equal to sine kx plus 2n pi. It is because sine wave looks the same or has the same properties as after every 2n pi radians. Now from this, I have removed k as common so that I am left with sine k outside and x plus 2n pi by k, where n is equal to 0, 1, 2 can be numbers, where n denotes the number of wave cycles. Now displacement. The displacement of the wave is same at x and x plus 2n pi by k. Okay, just now I had shown you, right? The displacement, if I take this point, okay, after 2 pi radians, it is the same. Yes, again after 2 pi radians, it is the same. Yes or no? So displacement appears to be the same, is the same. The displacement, where are we counting from? From the axis, okay, from the horizontal axis. Okay, the displacement is the same from the axis, right? So displacement is same at x and x plus 2n pi by k. For n is equal to 1, now if I substitute n is equal to 1 here, lambda will become what, ma? 2 pi by k. Okay, so that is how lambda is related to here. It is lambda is equal to 2 pi by k, or k is equal to 2 pi by lambda. Okay, children, k is equal to 2 pi by lambda, where k is the angular wave number or propagation constant. K is the angular wave number or propagation constant. The units of k here are radians per meter. Okay, lambda is measured in meters, right? 2 pi is in radians. So k is called as the angular wave number or propagation constant, and its units are radians per meter. Now let us discuss about time period here. What is time period? Okay, just now I made a statement, a very known universal statement. The time period of rotation of Earth is 24 hours. Okay, what do we mean by this, ma? The time period of rotation of Earth is 24 hours means what? After every 24 hours, the day starts again. Okay, the day starts again. Okay, here regarding the wave also it is the same. After every time period, after every 2 pi radians, we know the fresh new cycle begins again. Okay, you can see here, this is the period of the wave. Okay, children, the time, it is a time axis below. Yes, the horizontal axis is the time axis, and this is the period of the wave. Okay, the period of the wave is the time taken to complete one cycle. Okay, to complete one complete cycle. You can take it from here to here also, starting from here till here. Okay, this is also one complete cycle involving one full crest and one full trough. The time taken to complete one full cycle is called as the time period. Okay, now to understand about time period, what we will do, let us go back to our displacement equation again. In our displacement equation, we will take x is equal to 0 and phi is equal to 0. We are substituting x is equal to 0 just for our convenience, and phi is equal to 0. So the equation will become y of 0 comma t is equal to, because x is equal to 0 we have taken, and in kx we have substituted x. So we are left with a sine of minus omega t. A sine of minus omega t. So trigonometric functions, you know, what will this become? It will become minus a sine omega t. Okay, we know sine of minus theta is minus sine theta. So a sine minus omega t will become minus a sine omega t. Now definition of time period, time taken by an element to complete one full oscillation is called time period. Okay, I have shown you on the diagram also. What do we mean by time period? Time taken to complete one full oscillation. The time taken to complete one full wave cycle is called as the time period of the wave. This is denoted by capital T, and the time period, the units of time period is seconds. We know the common SI units of time, seconds, right? That is only the unit of time period. Now we have the angular frequency here, children. The angular frequency of the wave. Okay, the angular frequency of the wave is defined as the angular displacement of any element of the wave per unit time. Okay, the angular displacement of any element of the wave per unit time, it is represented by omega. This is called as omega. Okay, and its units are radians per second. Okay, children, here there is always a question. If you observe this definition, angular displacement of any element of the wave per unit time is angular frequency, we are saying. Okay, does this remind you of anything else, children? Have you heard about angular velocity? Remember angular velocity from your first year topics? We are giving the same definition here. Okay, yes, children, such things should ignite your mind. Mathematically or conceptually, we know velocity and frequency are two different terms. Then how is it that when you are using the term angular before them, we are defining it in the same manner? Children, angular frequency and angular velocity are mathematically the same. Okay, they are mathematically the same. Even in the units, if you consider radians per second, for angular velocity also, you will get such units only. Okay, but then where does the difference arise? Do you think there is no difference at all? There is a difference, children. The difference arises in the concept. Okay, the conceptual difference you have to understand here. Angular velocity, we are considering, you know very well, when the object is moving in a curved path. Okay, it is moving in a curved path. In this curved path, it is describing some displacement in the angle. There is some change in the angle, okay, from time to time. That is the angular velocity, d theta by dt. We write it as what? D theta by dt. But angular frequency is connected with the complete oscillations. We are not just talking about a small displacement d theta, okay? The position of the particle is changing. All this is considered with angular velocity, but we are talking about angular frequency here, where angular frequency talks about, or the word angular frequency is used when we are talking about periodic motions, okay? Waves, right? Oscillations, vibrations. All these things involve angular frequency, okay? Angular velocity, you can just confine it to rotational motion and all. Okay, children? So this is angular frequency represented by omega, and the units are radians per second. Now the relation between time period and angular frequency. The relation between time period and angular frequency. Okay. In the previous slide, we have stopped at minus a sine omega t. We have stopped at minus a sine omega t. Here, as we have seen earlier, the wave repeats for every 2 pi radians. Okay. The wave repeats for every 2 pi radians. After every time period also, the wave is repeating itself, right? After every time period, that is for one complete time period, the wave is again repeating itself, yes or no? We have seen in the diagrams there, right? So I can write here minus a sine omega t. I will add a term to this equation here, that is minus a sine omega t plus omega into capital T, where this capital T is the time period of the wave. Okay, that means after every argument of this, product, it is going to look like the same wave which it started from where it started. From capital T is equal to 0, from where it started, it is again going to look the same, right? Now, we also know that the sine function repeats after 2 pi radians. Previously, we have seen this. The sine function repeats after every 2 pi radians. That is omega into capital T is equal to 2 pi. Okay, because the wave is repeating. It is coming back to its original position again after omega t and 2 pi radians. From this, I can write angular frequency omega. Angular frequency omega is equal to 2 pi by t. Angular frequency omega is equal to 2 pi by t, or t is equal to 2 pi by omega. T is equal to what, children? 2 pi by omega. This omega is called as the angular frequency, and we all know T is the time period. We have seen earlier the angular frequency of the wave. The units of angular frequency of the wave is radians per second. Now, one more important concept here, the frequency of the wave. The number of oscillations per second. The number of oscillations per second is defined as the frequency of the wave. Okay, children. So if I take T as the time period, in time period, how many oscillations did we consider? One oscillation, yes or no? How did we define time period? The number of oscillations covered, sorry, the time taken to complete one full cycle. This is one full cycle from here to here, okay? One full cycle, the time taken to cover this full cycle. How many oscillations are this? How many wave cycles are this? One wave cycle, yes? So frequency is defined as 1 by, that is number of oscillation. In one time period, we have taken one wave, okay? By the time period. How much time did it take? Okay. This again is omega by 2 pi. The units of the frequency formula can also be written as omega by 2 pi. Okay. The units of frequency is given by hertz. Units of frequency is given by hertz. Okay. Children, by the image here, by the picture here, I would like to show you the relation between frequency and wavelength. Okay. We will see the relation between frequency and wavelength. What difference do we observe in these two waves? How are the cycles moving here? If you see here, the horizontal line, consider it as the time axis. Okay. Now fix to any time here. If you take this point, here, you can see 1, 2, 3 waves are completed. Yes. But if you take the same point below, we just have one completed wave and rather 1.5 waves here. Yes or no? Which means that the number of cycles produced in this waveform in a unit of time, this is a unit of time we have taken. In this unit of time, the number of wave cycles is more, whereas here in the same unit of time, the number of wave cycles is very, very less. Okay. Which means that this wave, the first wave, is a high frequency wave. Okay. Because in a given unit of time, it is producing more number of waves or more number of wave cycles. Whereas this wave, the below wave, is producing less number of waves. Okay. It is producing less number of waves in the same unit of time. So this is a low frequency wave. This is a low frequency wave. Now coming to wavelength comparison. See the wavelength comparison now. We are saying it is a high frequency wave, but how are the waves placed? How are the crests and troughs here? Very close to each other. Yes, they are very close to each other. Okay, children. Which means if the wave has high frequency, then the wavelength is very, very small. Okay. If the wave has low frequency, if it is a small frequency wave, then it is a long wavelength. It has long wavelength. Okay. So long wavelength waves, we have, children, our radio waves. Okay. And short wavelength waves, we have our microwaves, X-rays and all. Okay. Highly energetic rays, highly energetic waves are all high frequency waves. Okay. Radio waves are the which should pass through a long distance. Okay. Radio waves have to travel a long distance, right? So they are the long wavelength waves. Okay, children. Now, what have we learned today? We have reviewed that amplitude is maximum displacement of the wave. Yes, amplitude is the maximum displacement of the wave particles of the wave elements. Displacement is not constant, but amplitude is a constant for the wave. Okay, if the wave is not getting damped, if it is moving with the same frequency and amplitude, then it should be a constant value. Whereas displacement is continuously changing, right? The displacement where we have seen the equation y is equal to, okay, in the equation y itself is the displacement of the wave. Okay, phase describes the displacement and velocity of the waves. This also we have seen. The phase of the wave describes the displacement and velocity of the wave. So the phase term I told you, it is very very important. Okay, from this we understand the displacement of the wave at a given instant of time, at a given position, where is the wave particle and at what velocity the wave is moving. And then we have seen this important concept, phase difference and path difference. And then we have seen phase difference is what? Delta phi. Okay, phase difference is delta phi and path difference is given by delta x. Okay, phase difference is the angle difference between the two waves. Okay, it is the angle difference of the two phases, difference of the phases of the two waves. And path difference is the distance traversed, the difference in the distance traversed by the two waves is called as the path difference. Okay, we have also seen the relationship between them, children. And then we have seen wavelength and wave number. We have seen wavelength and wave number. We have also seen the relation between them. K is equal to 2 pi by lambda. It is also called as the propagation constant. Okay, or we can write lambda is equal to 2 pi by K. The units of wavelength is meters and the units of wave number or the propagation constant is radians per meter. And then we have seen time period and its relation with frequency and angular frequency. Okay, we have seen time period and its relation with frequency and angular frequency. Time period is the time taken by the wave to complete one cycle. Yes, its relation with frequency. Frequency is equal to 1 by t, just simply 1 by t. And when it comes to angular frequency, omega is equal to 2 pi by t. Okay, if we are talking about frequency, then the units of frequency is hertz. Okay, it is hertz. For angular frequency, we can write it as radians per second. Okay, children, today's session is completed here. You can come with your doubts now.
Thank you, Kalyani madam.
Yes, ma'am.
Excellent. The very complex phenomenon of phase difference, path difference are very well explained. And all
Thank you.
time period, wave number, propagation constant. Excellent. I think if we do a few problems in that, it would have been better.
Yes, ma'am. I was worried about the time constraint.
Yes,
In the
yes,
upcoming
I think the constraint. In the next class, you can go with one or two problems also.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Children,
Okay.
tomorrow you'll have the next interesting classes in zoology and physics. So stay tuned, keep learning, stay safe. Thank you, everyone.